Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to my studio and to my channel. I am just coming on real quick here to give just an update on a few things that I started, some a while back, some just a few days ago, but I promised I would be back to show you, so I'm just going to do it all at once, and then I'm going to get busy in the studio and make some art. So the other day I did these paintings, if you will, where I just flooded these papers with a ton of water and then just started adding paints and inks just to see what would happen. So this is the one, if you look back, I'll put an iCard up there so that you can see the video where I made these. This is the one that was on the 300 GSM watercolor paper. And I think in that original video I said it was 300-pound watercolor paper. It was 300 GSM, which is 140 watercolor paper. But this is the Fabriano paper, and it is all cotton. So it took the color really well. Right here is where the cheesecloth was, and I pulled that up, and that left kind of, and up here too, kind of interesting marks. The color did stay, and then where you see these little spots is where I put the salt, and it made kind of like craters. It didn't react the way I expected it to. Usually it just pulls all the color up and you're left with these little light starburst kind of effects. I didn't get that, but it's kind of pretty, kind of dull looking. But that's that one. This one was the 140 watercolor paper from the visual journal, the Strathmore journal. And so it kept the paint a little more vibrant. This right here is where I put the saran wrap. Also left kind of interesting. It's very shiny right here, and then duller in the middle. So this may have been the acrylic ink that was trapped under the saran wrap. Here, if you can see right here in this corner, I left the fibers of cheesecloth on that one. I didn't pull them off. I liked the way they looked. And then here and here, where I pulled off the salt, it did go down to the paper and left light marks, so I'll have to touch those up. But this paper, it buckled. I don't know if you can see that, but the middle buckled quite badly. I'm going to try, I can maybe wet the, it actually is still a little wet there from where the saran wrap, it must not have been completely dry. So maybe it will come back up as it dries, we'll see. And then this was the Yupo paper. The salt picked everything up right back to the paper on this one, which is a shame, but I think I might drop some more paint in there. This is where the saran wrap was, and that left some interesting marks. A couple places it pulled the paper up too, and then I did start to pull up the cheesecloth on this one, but I could see, you see the white areas right there. It was starting to pick up the paint, so I just pushed it back down. This one I left alone, and it looks pretty cool. So I'll do something with these. They're not magnificent. I mean, they're okay. I kind of like this one the best, so I will repair those white spots and probably make a card. I might be able to cut some pieces out of here. You know, I'll just isolate it with some windows, cut out a paper to see what parts I like the best and just use those. This one I'm not nuts about. It's just a little too dull and kind of blah looking. Anyway, that's the update on those. The bonus was, so I have this cool cheesecloth that's covered in paint and ink. It's kind of grungy looking, so I will definitely be using that. And then that Himalayan salt, where it soaked up the paint and ink, is now colored, so I may or may not do anything with that, or maybe I'll just put it down on a watercolor painting or something at some point. But anyways, a little bonus stuff out of that. And then if you go back a little farther in my videos, there'll be another iCard up there to when I made the big huge piece of collage paper. I just took a bunch of tags. Let me move this right this way. Different size tags. I had just some tea-dyed manila tags that I had. These were old product tags, and these were some tags that I bought from Etsy years ago that were just manila tags with strings and stamping on them. And then these were the Ranger regular tags. But I just cut pieces off of that sheet. Here, let me get the sheet in case you didn't see the video. I made this huge sheet with just all kinds of pieces of papers and ephemera, scraps, whatever, so that I would have it to just be able to take pieces off of and use like I did here. So I just put pieces on each of these tags, punched through the tag and the paper that I glued on, and then I just stitched around the edges. These I just drew the stitching on because my machine came the needle came unthreaded, and I couldn't see to get it threaded on, and I just didn't feel like going looking for my glasses, which now I don't need anymore because I have my contact back. But anyways, I just drew the stitching on those smaller ones. But so that's one thing that you can do with, you know, when you have just a roll of paper, they all kind of go together. So that was fun. So I have those in my stash now. And then this is my small Dylusions journal. And I just cut some pieces from the roll to put on these pages. This one's curling up. I'm going to have to clamp it down to work on it. But I realized after I cut them that I cut them too short. I was trying not to get right into the spine area. So I just tore a piece off of some sheet music and ran it down where the spine of the pages, or the book spine is, the bend of the pages, you know what I'm saying. And because I'm going to go over this as just my first layer of background, so I will create something on top of this, so this will all kind of go together. So that's my report of catching you up on projects that I showed you the start of. I never showed you the end, but I will come back, and I have something that I want to work on today, which I will film, but I'll come back maybe later this afternoon and work on this little journal page. I'm not sure that I'm going to like this. Let me show you what happened. Hang on. So you know that this is the size journal, the Dylusions journal, that I usually like to work in. And I had filled my other one up. I think this is a 9 by, let me see, does it say on here? 9 by 12, or I just like, I like the size when it's open. If I want to do a 2-page spread, I have a lot of room to work, and I like that better than just having this smaller version. This is okay, and I will work in this. But what happened was, one of my kids gave me an Amazon gift card for Christmas. I can take this off of here. And I had just filled that my other Dylusions journal like this one. I had just filled it up and I knew I wanted another one, so I ordered another one. And when it came, this is what it was. It's ripped, it's bent, and they're not cheap journals. It was like 25 bucks maybe. So I know Amazon is really good. If you get something that you're not satisfied with, or it comes damaged or whatever, if you call their number, call their customer service number, and generally you will get a recording or a window or something that asks for your phone number, and it says they will call you back. And it's a security thing, I'm sure, to where your number then is linked back to your account. This is for a Prime account. And they call you back like within seconds. They'll call you. And then you can explain the issue, but they're always so good about replacing or taking stuff back or refunding whatever, generally, whatever you want them to do. But so I explained to them that yes, it's usable, but for the amount of money that was spent, this should not have happened. And I asked, them to replace it. We would replace it with this one. But anyways, that's a story about how I got the smaller one, because I wouldn't have bought this size. But this is still usable, and I can, put something on there to reinforce it. It's totally fine. It's just the cover is damaged. And by the time I'm done working in this over the course of probably a year, that cover was going to get damaged anyways. So that's how I got those two. And I've rambled on enough and taken enough of your time. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in for this little update. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.